Hello, Alien here, and today for our visual novel backlog, I'm going to be playing The Roottrees Are Dead. I bought this during the Steam summer sale a couple months ago, and the description in the game just sounded really interesting to me. So here we're looking at a newspaper for the Butler County Times. So it's set in Pennsylvania, and in the left side, what happened? The plane crashed last night near Pittsburgh. The only passengers were Carl Roottree, his wife Brenda, and their 3 daughters known as the Roottrees sisters. Carl Roottree was the president of the Rootshire Candy Company, and it's not clear who will succeed him. So far, local police are not sure what caused the crash. We even have this handy little map that points out where the crash site is. And the article continues, they are calling it one of the most deadly plane crashes in Pennsylvania's history. All passengers and crew perished. Pittsburgh is generally known for pleasant flying conditions, and the weather was not atypical for this time of year. We do not know much at this time, but our sources tell us that local authorities do not suspect terrorism. The crash did not cause any local property damage, and fortunately nobody outside the plane was hurt. Funeral plans have been announced, but you can be sure that but the Butler County Times will cover it to the best of our abilities. So, from what I understand, there is, of course, this death in this Roottrie family that has this huge estate and is worth a lot of money, and we are going to try to figure out who is the inheritor of said estate. Okay, so let's get started with the new game. Oh, there's a post game. Okay. One thing that was really appealing to me was the idea of using various pieces of media in order to solve the mystery. So we can see like this old-fashioned dial-up loading screen. And I know there's going to be like photos and articles and things to look through, and that is 100% up my alley. So I'm really looking forward to playing this. December 6th, 1998.
The plane that crashed last night just outside of Pittsburgh is now known to have been the private jet of the Roottrees Corporation. Local aviation authorities have speculated, based on the pilot's final communication, that the winter storm and heavy winds played a significant role in the crash. On board were multiple family members, including corporate president Carl Roottree and his daughters, the Roottrees sisters, best known for their fashion lines and modeling careers. There were no survivors. Again, for those of you just joining us,
Okay, I think it was a little silly of a decision to have this like live action Telecaster and then have the rest of it be animated. I feel like they should have just drawn everything and done this traditional visual novel style. That's just my personal preference.
The Roottrees are dead.
Okay, there's a knock at our door.
I know it's late, but I'm guessing you've seen the news. In addition to dealing with the grief, the Roottrees Company's lawyers are scrambling. Everything's about to change. Anyone proven to be a blood relative is about to get much richer. I'm here to ensure everyone is accounted for. I've heard you're an expert at sorting out complicated family trees. A genealogy genie, as it were. I'm going to give you a quick test. Pass, and I can promise you the job of a lifetime.
I forgot that was another selling point of the game for me, that there's genealogy involved into it, and I've been down like random genealogy rabbit holes in my mom's family tree, just finding out really strange like old family gossip, and it's really fun. So yeah, this makes it all the more appealing to me. All right. Complete the family tree of the Roottrees sisters. Siblings are in birth order from oldest to youngest. Examine my evidence. Search the internet for clues. Fill in the names. Fill in occupations. Oh, sleuth time. Okay. And then fill in photos. Okay, so got milk picture. The person who hired you gave you this photo with a note attached. This was taken during the shoot for the Roottrees Sisters Got Milk ad. I've tracked down a test photo from before they painted the fake mustaches, on which I thought would be more appropriate considering the circumstances. The ad's copy reads, "You might recognize our faces from the magazine you're reading, or you might recognize our name from the candy bar you're eating. Being a root tree is a full-time job, but so is growing up. That's why the calcium found in milk is so important. Plus, you can't make chocolate without it." That's so corny. Okay, but we have these three sisters here. Great. That's our first piece of evidence. So now we've got a little mini photo of her and her. Just kind of looking at the photos, she looks the youngest to me. She has a ring on her finger, so she might be the oldest. I'm guessing she might be the middle child. That's just my guess from looking at the picture. All right, let's go to the second piece of evidence. So a list of names. This list was provided to you by the mysterious person who showed up at your door. You'll need it to fill in the family tree. So of the women, we have Samuel Alois, Gwyneth Anderson, Deborah Bean, Laura Carlson, Stephanie Christensen, Stephanie Cattrall, Patricia Christensen, Sarah Cosell, Daniel Franks, Lisa Garcia, Bonnie Hudson. Oh my goodness, I'm not reading all of these. You get the picture. And then we get to the main family line, because then we get to all the root trees themselves. Okay, so I assume this is going to be added to our evidence automatically. But if these are the root tree daughters, then, their names are going to be somewhere on this side. So Candy, Carly, Gwendolyn, Gwen, Christina, Lauren, Morgalite, November, Raina, Riley, Samantha, and Tessa. There's no immediate, here's 3 names that start with this letter, or here's names that all follow a theme. So it's not going to be that easy peasy. Oh, and yeah, someone is married, and I did see a ring on her. So she is definitely the oldest. So my birth order for that was correct. All right, let's do some PC research. So we're connecting to the internet. Oh my god, that sound. Okay, we're gonna use spider search. You can create notes quickly by highlighting text with your mouse. Okay, do we already have a search history? No, okay. Let's just start, well, I think Roottree actually has 2 T's, so that was... First 2 pages are filled with news results about the plane crash. Besides that, there are countless advertisements and conversations about various products made by the Roottree Candy Company. Okay. His daughters are also eulogized, collectively referred to. Okay, what if we try Roottree Sisters? All right, so that was actually useful. Come across an official Roottree fan site, seemingly curated by a teenager. It's neon pink with purple text and hard to read until you highlight the words. The young webmaster writes, Raina is the most famous because she's the oldest and got married to TMS, but Riley is the smart one. Rose is a middle child like me. Okay, so we can fill some of this in. So we know that she is Raina. And Riley is the youngest. Oh, wait. Riley is the youngest and Rose is the middle child. Okay, so they did have a theme. I was just not looking at all of the names. Rose. Wait, where is Rose? Okay, so no, I wasn't crazy. We don't have a Rose here. Interesting. Okay, but we do have, where was it? Riley is a smart one and Rose is a middle child like me. I mean, I can just search. No. Raina Riley. Okay, so this name isn't there. That's interesting. You might think they are rich just because they are models, but their dad is also the president of the candy company, and their mom Brenda is a fashion designer. They do modeling for her brand Root. I eat Roottrees candy all the time. My favorite are maple crisps, and try to dress in plaid Root clothes, like Riley does in most of the posters. Someday I want to get my ears pierced like Rose. The website's author continues to talk about her own life and what she likes about the Root fashion lines, but none of it is relevant. Okay, so let's try searching. Oh, and then we said TMS. So let's look for an S. Sheridan Thomas. Sounds like it could be correct. Okay. Occupation. Well, we know you were a model. I mean, I assume they're all models? I don't think we have confirmation for sure on who's who there. Let's come back here. Let's look up Rose Roottrees. Most of the time, they're lumped together as the Roottrees sisters. Unfortunately, the results for Rose by herself don't lead to anything different than what you've already searched for the sisters. Someone isn't in the list of names that your employer provided. Doing a deeper dive on what you'll learn about them will often lead to additional discoveries. A good research tip is to make note of any brand names, books. Okay, so what was that? It was just called Root. So I'll look up Root clothing company. They make clothes for children from toddlers to teenagers. Although their website is down, likely to increase traffic, you find countless retail sites attempting to advertise their clothes toward the target audience. You've spied the Roottrees sisters, looking hella fly on catalogs, magazines, and posters. Now you too can be like Riley, Rose, or Raina. You also come across a website from a collector of clothing catalogs. Apparently, Root has released 2 catalogs per year every year since 1984, and Raina appeared on almost all of them. There is only one that the webmaster considers a collector's item enough to mention it. It seems that Brenda Roottrees, the Roottrees sisters' mother and Root's head designer, appeared on one cover holding her daughter Rose in 1985. The site that says this was the only time her daughter was ever listed with her birth name, Carly Roottrees. Okay, so Rose is actually Carly. Great. And I mean, if all of them are models, because that kind of seems like it's accurate, we can just go ahead and fill that in right now. And if it's wrong, it's wrong. Okay, so we still need the photos. Let's go back and look at the picture again. Is there anything else that can tell? I mean, I just think I'm gonna just take a guess because, oh wait, they did say that she had plaid, right? One of them was wearing plaid. Let's see. I don't remember where it mentioned that. It might have been on the fan site. Someday I want to get my ears pierced like Rose. Okay. That was helpful. So this was Rose. So she has pierced ears and she doesn't. Yay! We did it! These 3 entries are correct and have been locked. You've also locked the following optional entry. Oh, optional stuff. Cool. It's our mysterious employer again.
Be sure you could use the internet. Some folks refuse to get with the times. Safe to say, you're hired.
Thank you.
The reward for untangling the family tree is substantial. Life-changing, even. But here's the catch. The Roottrees go way, way back. The family tree's a bit daunting. Most people freak out the first time they see the whole thing. But I'm sure you'll be fine.
Totally.
The man who started it was particular about whom he considered family. For your purposes, you only need his direct blood relatives. Anyone related only by marriage is optional, but filling them in can lead to useful discoveries.
Oh, we're going to try to fill in everything.
Lastly, you now have access to some unique websites, plus a list of notable Roottrees. Notable people are easy to find via your search engine, and marked with stars on the family tree. I'm off for now. Carl Roottree had a lot in his office. I'll look for anything useful. I'll return once you identify 6 more blood relatives.
All right. No, okay.
Sorry, one last thing. This might sound odd, but if anyone else claiming to represent the Roottrees reaches out, I'd appreciate you not mentioning I was here. Thank you, and good luck.
Well, that means someone for sure is going to reach out to us. Oh my goodness, here is our big tree. Oh, this is going to be so much fun. I'm excited. That's a generous amount of stars, too. Okay, sleuth time. Before the person who hired you returns, every time you get 3 additional blood relatives in the family tree completely correct, name, occupation, and portrait, they will be locked in. All non-blood relatives and small portraits here are optional, but placing them in the tree helps remove extra names and photos. Okay. Wait, is there anything else? Nope. Okay, where shall we? Oh, top secret. What is this? You can open this envelope after the whole family tree has been filled in. It has 2 names that must be typed in manually. The clues are obscure, have been intentionally hidden in the past, and may even require some leaps in logic. Try to keep an eye out for any inconsistencies. Okay, so we're mostly going to be in this area over here. All right, let's take a look at this information we got. Okay, so the notable Roottrees. Person who hired you gave you a list and said everyone on it could be found easily via your search engine. So of course that's what we're going to do next. Any entry on the family tree that belongs to someone on the list will be marked with a star. Notable Roottrees will be crossed out after they have been verified and locked. Okay, so let's just go down the list. We're going to start with Carl Roottree. Carl died in the recent plane crash, president of the Roottrees Candy Company, as well as the clothing company Root, which he co-founded with his wife. There is a short press release that the Roottrees Candy Company released today to news organizations. Right, December 6, 1998. So I'm like, am I like 9 years old, I think? It is with a heavy heart that we mourn the loss of Carl, Brenda, the Roottree sisters, and the other employees that perished in the terrible tragedy. The entire Roottree family is in shock and requesting privacy at this time. Although I kind of feel like they would say privacy, even though they're not English. As the head of our company, Carl was an incredible man and an unmatched leader. Filling his absence will be difficult and may take considerable time. In the interim, we hope that you join us in looking back fondly on Carl and his family's triumphs and accomplishments. They go on to list those accomplishments. One of them seems relevant to your search. Like his great-grandfather before him, Carl earned the highly prestigious Watchman of the Year title. Okay, so this we're going, when we talk about like the family line, this is the Roottree line. So this, oh, we don't have a photo. This is going to be Carl. And this is going to be his wife, Brenda. Okay, his occupation. Would he be listed as a CEO? President of the Roottrees Candy Company, and Root, which he co-founded with his wife. I feel like it makes sense to say that, so for now, I'm going to list him as a CEO. To verify this person, you'll be able to add bonus photos. Okay, cool. All right, let's go next to Elias Roottree. We got a JPEG. Elias Roottrees was the founder and first president of the Roottrees Candy Company. Oh, first president. Okay, so this is going like all the way back to the top of the tree. So that would be, we're up here. There's a picture of him and his wife, Gwyneth. That picture's been added to your evidence. So let's pull that up real quick. Famous photo of Elias and Gwyneth, taken in 1909 after they founded the Roottrees Candy Company, but before it was a success. From what you've found searching the internet, it seems quite difficult to find any site about Elias or Gwyneth that isn't accompanied by this picture. Elias and Gwyneth are on the notable Roottrees list in your evidence. They will be marked with a star. Okay, let's go back over here. We can add their pictures to this. So what would we list you as? Would we just list him as a CEO too? I mean, he did inherit it. Oh, we have president though. So maybe they're listed as presidents. First president. Okay, yeah, that is how they're doing the occupation. So let's go down to first president. So first, then this line would be second, I think. Third. Ooh. Well, I don't know. But what I do know is that he's not a CEO, and if there's 5 listed here, I'm gonna put him down as 5 because I think that makes sense. Okay, let's go back to the internet search. Okay, Elias is credited for inventing 5 pieces, a popular maple candy. Before that, the farm he inherited by marrying his wife only produced syrup. After 5 pieces became wildly successful, Elias spent his time and energy on cementing his reputation as a family man. He is quoted on the site as saying, "Blood is thicker than syrup, and that any child linked by blood to me shall be linked by blood to my legacy." The site enthusiastically claims that he made good on that promise, but offers no additional detail. There are a few more quotes about Elias from a book called Family Man, The Roottrees Legacy by Bess Williams. Okay, this is where I'm like, I need to take notes because I'm not going to remember this. So I'm going to open a notepad real quick. Okay, Roottrees notes. So we want to follow up with Family Man, The Roottrees Legacy by Bess Williams. Got it. To say they are biased is a massive understatement, so I assume that probably means they're in the family. Below that, there is a long list of accomplishments and awards, and one stands out. Like his great-grandson Carl, Elias was voted Watchman of the Year. Okay. Can we find anything else about Gwyneth Roottrees? First, Anderson Maple Farm. A few pictures, including a famous picture, which is already in our evidence. Before marrying Elias, Gwyneth Roottrees was Gwyneth Anderson. She had no brothers, so as the oldest sister, she was to inherit the Anderson Maple Farm so long as she married. Before Elias took over, the farm produced only syrup. It was supposedly Elias's idea to create candy instead. Supposedly is a very interesting word here. Their success was not immediate until they decided to combine the maple with other flavors. This led to 5 pieces, which are still found in stores to this day. Though the Roottrees Candy Company expanded well beyond their original farm, it has been preserved as a tourist attraction. According to their website, there are still daily demonstrations and educational tours that show off many of the turn-of-the-century appliances that Gwyneth would have used as a housewife in the early 1900s. If she's just listed as, oh, why is your name unknown? You're Gwyneth Anderson. Oh, and you're Elias. Elias Roottrees. Wait, is it Elias C. Roottrees? I think it's just Elias. They mentioned housewife, which is really annoying, but that's what she was listed as. So that's what I'm gonna put there for now. Let's do Gwen Roottrees. Was that 2 N's or 1? 2. Gwyn Roottree. Okay, we're getting a picture. Oh, she's very pretty. Widely circulated photo of Gwyn Roottree. You have seen it on multiple websites about old films. Okay. Might as well take a peek at this. Roottree's sisters and their parents died. Shadowy figure appeared in your door. Figure give you access to some resources. This includes a list of notable Roottrees. Okay, so this is just telling me what I'm doing. And then this is the 5 pieces. You've been in the line of work for a long time, so in fact, developed a sense of how useful your evidence can be. Numbers on the magnifying glass refer to how many clues are connected to a specific piece of evidence. The higher the number, the more there is to find. Starting your search, the notables list sets off alarm bells. List of famous people that you can find via a search engine. As you progress, these numbers will change. Whenever you find more evidence to lock in family members, new discoveries will be added to the list, and old evidence will become less useful. Okay. So there's a lot of things in here. Cool chocolate, bad blue raspberry, so strawberry, power plum, and awesome apple. There's 5 flavors because the original inventor had 5 kids. Maybe that's why kids still love them. Okay, so this having 5 kids is probably important. Radical new flavors because it's no longer the 1920s. What even is an elderberry anyway? Okay, that's so stupid. Okay. The ad also mentions that the current 5 flavors are not the same as back then because we had maple back then. There's not even a maple in here. They're maple shapes, but okay. And magazine Teen Blast. All right. Oh, wow. Okay, so we have 33 clues in here. Okay. So we have one of these stars is Gwen, but we don't know which one. Okay. Let's go back to the internet. You find some information on a website about old films that are not yet available on VHS. The site is not very well organized and the search is broken, but you can get to individual pages from your search engine. Gwyn Roottree is a somewhat well-known actress who was active in the 50s. She often appeared in tabloids, especially around the time of her highly publicized divorce. Okay, so divorce is useful here. So this person was married. We have a couple who were married. We have this person who would have been in the same generation as Carl. We have this person over here who has a couple photos related to them. And this person also has a couple photos. This person has 1. And it says split up. So for now, as a placeholder, I'm going to put her picture. And then we'll see if that changes. Her biggest role was the minor hit movie Guys Like Us. She left Hollywood after the flop of Christmas Mission. There's a widely circulated picture of Gwyn from behind the scenes in one of her movies, which you've added to evidence. Did you know trivia? Gwyn was the granddaughter of Elias Roottree, the founder of Roottree Candy. She shouldn't have been named Roottree, but her father took her mother's famous name, which was quite rare in those days. Okay, so this would be children. This would be grandchildren. So I think that does make sense. So I'm going to go ahead and say that this is Gwyn for now and that she was an actor. Oh, we got 3. These 3 entries are correct. And we also got Brenda White. Cool. So we're making good progress. Who was Brenda again? That was Carl's wife. Okay, let's keep looking. There's more stuff on Carl because we haven't finished his. Let's look up Red Roottree. Aloysius Herring Roottree, aka Red. an appointed judge and politician who earned his nickname ironically because he was the ambassador to Ireland for only about 6 days. He served what some people contend is the shortest term in history. A few days after he was appointed, he was heard disparaging his position in the Irish people. Oh my God. He then tried to run for state senate. He claimed to be related to the Roottrees Candy Company in a newspaper ad, but it came out that the last name was merely a coincidence and he was defeated in a landslide. So he's not even a real Roottrie. So he is indeed a red herring. Okay, so next is Jim. Okay, we got a print. Oh, that said MP3 though. This. We're rolling, oh my God. Okay. Rolling On Down to the City was barely a top 20 hit for a few weeks in 1979. According to the liner notes, it satirizes how part of society was content to remain indifferent to economic inflation and civil unrest in the Middle East, unless pop culture tricked them into caring. Somewhat ironically, listeners didn't seem to pay attention to the lyrics enough to trick them into caring. Instead, most of it came from roller discos. Because it was such a product of its time, it doesn't get much play anymore, even on stations that play oldies. Maybe that's why you've never heard of it before now. The image is from an auction for a sealed copy. Only the great-grandson of Elias Roottree could make disco this sweet. It is credited to Peter Janowitz from MMM. Music and lyrics by Jim Roottrie, vocals by Jim Roottrie and Diamond LaRue. Jim Roottrie is on the notable Roottrees list in your evidence. He'll be marked by a star. The lyrics of the song will contain a clue. Okay. I decide the boat might be burning, but I'm feeling right. Megan gets me to pay rent and eat. Say that I'm pretty. Ladies blush. Find me so witty. Is he bi? Is that a clue? Shoes and Lars are all hopeless. Bankers in charge are all clowns. Parties are sell better than protests. Okay, I don't really know what the clue is. It says he is a great grandson, so let's. No, I can't turn it off. Yes, thank you. All right, so this is child, grandchild. This is our great grandchildren, and in the great grandchildren, this is the only one that, right? Child, grandchild, great grandchild. So I'm guessing this might be Jim. Oh. Well, if it is, he's not here. Only the great-grandson of Elias Roottree could make disco this sweet. We'll have to come back to that. Diamond LaRue. Do we have a LaRue? We do. Do we maybe have a James? There is a James, so I'm going to put that in as a placeholder. And I'm going to say you were a singer? Musician? Musician. Okay. That's my guess for them. Let's keep going. Although Jim writes the majority of songs, plays the guitar, and often sings, Diamond is considered by fans to be the band's lead singer. The band never had another hit, but has its fans who refer to themselves as Diamond's Dazzlers. The rest of their music is more folksy and acoustic than the one song they were known for. Jim and Diamond have continued to release music through the 80s and early 90s. Other albums you find mentioned are Cherry Tree and Sound of Laughter. Jim has become a bit of a recluse, and he hasn't made a public appearance since 1996. Okay, I'm going to write down those song titles. Cherry Tree, Sound of Laughter, and Diamonds, Dazzlers. Because they have children in the family tree, so... Okay, that pulls the same thing. What about Diamonds, Dazzlers? Okay, fan club. Find a forum post called Cool Things You Got in the Mail on a random forum about video games. One reply mentions that Jim and Diamond still send out Christmas card every year to Diamonds Dazzlers. That's sweet. It's accompanied by some pictures as well as some history about the fan club. Apparently, even though it is no longer available to join, Jim and Diamond still honor to themselves personally. There's a fierce debate in the subsequent posts about whether that's cool or pathetic. I think it's sweet. Amongst the pictures of Christmas cards from over the years, only one is relevant. The card from 1996 includes pictures of Jim and Diamond's young son, Wolf, as well as a note about his daughter's band, the Floozies. Okay, so we have Wolf and we have the Floozies spelled with a Z. That picture has been added to your evidence. Okay, so this is Wolf. So we're gonna go ahead and, wait, why can't I add it? I wanna add it. All right, well, I'll be able to add it later, I'm sure. Okay, let's look up Wolf Roottrees. Okay, nothing there. The Floozies. Oh, we got another MP3. I'm not gonna play it. This is just so that we have more music to listen to. The Floozies are an all-female punk band operating out of New York City. They're mentioned in passing in an online review from earlier this year. Apparently, they were the opening act of the band the reviewer actually came to see. The reviewer writes that she normally doesn't review the opening act, but this one was unusual, and not because of the music, which she described as loud, fast, and repetitive, but not in a good way. The trio was extremely cagey about their identities. The reviewer asked the venue who they were, and she was told they were rumored to be the children of other famous musicians and didn't want that to be why they became popular. The reviewer also mentioned that for an underground and unknown band with absolutely no following, their equipment was all extremely expensive, and not only were they selling CDs, but they only cost $1. They probably were losing a fortune. The viewer said although she bought a copy, she would be unlikely to ever listen to any of it again, except maybe Beef Baby, the 7th track. There is no picture of the Floozies performing live, but the cover from the CD they were selling, Conquistador, has been added to your evidence. Alright, I'm gonna write down Beef Baby. That might be the song that we got. Okay. What happens if I just search Wolf? That seems not helpful. Yeah, I didn't think so. Okay, we can add that. Wait, did it not save his picture? Well, that's obviously correct. Maybe... What is Sound of Laughter? An album by Jim and Diamond released in '89. Can't even find a picture of the cover, doesn't appear to have been very successful, and reviews seem middling even from fans. Some basic liner notes exist on a Jim Roottrees fan page, and it states that the lyrics and guitar are credited to Jim and the vocals are credited to Diamond. Okay, and then we have Cherry Tree. Yeah, this is not really helpful. Okay, I'm gonna search Bess Williams because that's another note I had to myself. Author born in 1800s, lived outside of Miami and died tragically young in a major hurricane. Information about her on the book Family Man seems to have faded over time due to lack of interest. Okay, impossible to find a copy of the book. Okay, let's go back to our notable Roottrees. Lauren Roottree. Author Lauren Roottrie, a distant relative of the Roottrie sisters, is known for her book A Life Between Wars. Okay, gotta write down titles of everything. According to a website about famous authors in the early 1960s, Lauren released a few romance novels under her married name, Lauren Rafferty. Okay. To little fanfare, when her publisher learned that she had been keeping diaries about her famous family, they insisted she release them under her original name, Lauren Roottree, to take advantage of her family's notoriety. The selection of diary entries released in 1965 as A Life Between Wars spans from the untimely death of her husband in World War II to coping with the post-war world as a young widow and mother, as well as her perspectives on changing times and socialites all the way through the entry into Vietnam. While the content is not considered particularly relevant to modern audiences, it has found new life as an exercise in high school English classes to show an evolution in writing style and for a look into life in previous generations. After the success of her diaries, her publisher re-released her romance novels under the name Lauren Roottree. This included Romance in Court, which gained popularity. She followed the re-release up by writing 2 new sequels, creating what fans refer to as the Court Jester series. You find no recent details about Lauren, though she is listed as retired. Okay, so we have Romance in Court and the Court Jester series. Okay. So we don't have a picture of her here, but what about Rafferty? Okay, so that's the same page. Reprinted recently for schools, available a lot of libraries. Okay. What about Romance in Court? All 3 books in the series have about different romance, but told via the same narrator. Probably surmised narrator's profession. Books had some popularity when they were released. Okay, so not much to go off of. She's listed as a distant relative, but that doesn't tell us much. She's either over here or over here, based on where I've put other people. Okay, let's try Miracle Jr. Miracle Jr. doesn't go by his full name in promotional materials. Instead, he has shortened it to Miracle Jr. Televangelist who is part of the Miracle Network, he used to have a show that aired on local access across many stations in the northeastern United States. According to a website called Clergy Watch, he was exposed and secretly charged with conspiracy to defraud the public in 1979 when he claimed to heal someone in a wheelchair. A news expose revealed it was his wife, Edith's sister, in disguise. Okay, so we know the name of his wife and that she had a sister. The author also mentions that Edith had a bit of a checkered past herself, but doesn't clarify. He has since lost his television show and instead goes on tour across the southern United States, where he was not well known before the scandal. Okay, let's try Clergy Watch. Okay, same thing. What about Edith Roottrie? Okay, we had that list of names, right? We have an Edith Jacobson, so that could be her. And then what about Miracle? We have Miracle Jr. and Miracle the Third. I don't know which one it is. I mean, well, he's Miracle Jr., obviously. So one of these is probably Miracle. He could be Miracle Jr. Oh, but you're also the same generation. You could possibly be Miracle, but I feel like this is going to be some obscure thing. So I'm going to guess that this is Miracle Jr. And he's a con artist. Televangelist isn't here. Preacher, I guess. And then this would be Edith. And I'm guessing that this is gonna be Miracle the Third. And that means this is probably Miracle. Those are guesses. So we still have a lot to look up. Let's go back to Carl again. There was that title that they won, Watchman of the Year. Okay. Oh, okay. So oh, the public library. Okay, so we can look up the books there. I didn't think about that. Business Watch magazine is a magazine focused on companies, CEOs, and the economy. They have been around for over 100 years in one form or another and will often write about major changes in management of famous companies. Every year they offer an award to prominent businessman who has furthered the field. They call this Watchman of the Year. You find through a few searches that 2 Roottrees have been featured as Watchmen of the Year, Elias and Carl. Business Watch does not host any online archives of any site you can find via spider search, though you may be able to find individual articles and issues through your periodical search. So let's look for Business Watch, and we're going to look for Roottree. Okay. Carl Roottree. There we go. Carl Roottree was voted Watchman of the Year in '87. According to the cover, for and about corporate leaders. I don't know why that paused my brain. Before they married, Carl's wife Brenda was a fashion consultant. When Raina was born, Brenda retired to become a stay-at-home mother. Looking for a creative outlet, she spent any free time she had at the sewing machine. Raina's new clothes were a hit with other parents, including Carl's cousin, Jim Roottree, a notable singer who had a young daughter around the same age as Raina. Word spread. In 1982, Brenda's patterns were being copied by other brands. Seeing the demand, Carl and his second cousin, Ernie Jr., who had just become president of Roottree at the time, spearheaded Root. Okay. So we have Ernie Roottree. Or Ernie Jr., not Ernie Roottree. Who had just become president of Roottree. Not of the candy stuff. Other blood relatives who have a say in the company's finances refused to fund anything other than candy, so Carl personally spent his entire inheritance to bankroll the clothing company. When the profits began to appear, however, the rest of the family changed their tune. They repaid the investment, and now Root exists under the umbrella of the candy company, and they all benefit. Per tradition, or perhaps superstition, new clothes always debuted the way the first ones did. Raina became their catalog's cover model. As she grew, the product line expanded to older kids as well. Her younger sisters were then recruited to show off the baby clothes. Carl was voted Watchman of the Year primarily for his personal gamble and the ensuing payoff. Okay, so we can now add Carl's picture. Oh, why is Wolf's picture showing up now? Weird. It showed up over here, but not over here. That's very strange to me. What does that mean? Okay, so he has a second cousin. This is first cousin. But these people, these are his first cousins. So second cousin would be like, oh, what's this? Family trees use surnames for birth. even if the person changed their last name after marriage. Always use a person's most recent occupation. Okay, good to know. All right. There are 3 clues with this one. So we had the photo, but it's probably also related to Ernie Jr., wherever he is. Okay. Cover and a summary of the article. All right. Let's look up Elias Roottrees. Now we've got a picture. Oh my god, it's so old. Voted Watchman of the Year by Business Watch in 1936 for the roulette of 5 pieces. Inside the article is a timeline. 1908, Elias forms the Roottrees Candy Company after marrying his wife, who inherited a maple farm. During the period before 5 pieces, the company is barely profitable. 1909, Elias has a daughter, the first of 5 children. 4 more follow, leading to Elias invents 5 pieces. Each of the 5 flavors is chosen based on the initials of his 5 children, 1 flavor per child. But it's not the same 5-piece flavors that we have now. Okay, so a daughter is his first child, and they should be in birth order. So this is a woman. So that's just worth noting. 5 pieces are first sold in some Pittsburgh markets in 1924. 5 pieces are rolled out to all of New England. The new recipe and a flavor is finalized, and the candy begins nationwide distribution in department stores and other shops. The Roottrees family candy company purchases every available maple farm in Pennsylvania. With the help of his son, Elias Roottrees Jr.'s architecture firm, a new industrialized factory and warehouse are built in Butler County, and production is tripled and worldwide distribution begins. Okay, so we know that he has an eldest daughter, and he has a son named Elias Roottrees Jr. And also, if Ernie is an Ernie Jr., if this is a daughter, well, I mean, this could still be Ernie, and this could be an Ernie Jr. Like, this could be the Ernie line. Okay, so that doesn't necessarily help me knock it out. Okay, but let's look up Elias. Let's look up Ernie Jr. Plans to do this with the Clancy Trust. Okay, hold on. Clancy Trust. Okay. Now, just because they weren't like Watchmen of the Year doesn't mean they wouldn't be mentioned in here. Root president to take over Roottrees. Due to heart illness, Ernie is stepping down as president of Roottrees at the start of the second quarter in 1996. His second cousin, Carl, president of sister company Root and former Watchman of the Year, will take over. Okay, so Ernie was president before Carl. So here's Carl, and it's his second cousin. Oh god, I don't remember how cousins work. These are your cousins. I'm guessing this is second cousin, like going one step back. This would be his, no, but that would just be an uncle or an aunt. So that's not second cousin. How do I need to Google, how do second cousins work? Okay, hold on. What is a second cousin? Someone who shares the same great-grandparents as you, but not the same grandparents. Okay, so this is his great-grandparents. This is his grandparent. So these, isn't that just cousin? Okay, your parents and your second cousins are first cousins. Okay. I'm processing this information. This is his parent. This is his grandparent. This is his great-grandparent. So they don't have the same grandparents. I don't think this is enough for me to like mark where this person is located. but worth remembering. Okay, so let me just make a note. Ernie, second cousin. It was been 13 years since Ernie was forced to step into the role of president unexpectedly. Back then, not much was known about the man other than his full name. In the years since, he has taken on a bit of a reputation as a real-life Wonka. He's known as a bit eccentric and reclusive, opting to be called simply Ernie Jr. and to forego the typical luxuries of the average Roottrie. But in our estimation, he has been a shrewd businessman with an eye for sweets. Ernie Jr. has led Roottrie to record profits by developing new products, including maple crisps, and by spearheading the formation of Root with his cousin in 1982 after learning of Brenda Roottree's powerhouse in the fashion community. Okay, so that's Ernie. Then we also had Elias Roottree Jr. Nothing relevant. Okay. What about Brenda? Not relevant. Okay. Let's go back to Spider Search. Hunchtop House. Okay. Nothing extra there. Okay, what about... Oh, wait. That's what I had just searched. I meant Ernie Jr. Oh, he's since passed away. Could that be helpful? I don't think we have a mark for... This is like enclosed in rope for some reason. But I don't think it lists... What is this? Guardian. Oh, interesting. And those are more divorces. Okay. What other line? I mean, I don't know if this is useful, but maple crisp? No. Oh, wait. It was one word. Not useful. Clancy Trust? Okay. Clancy Trust is a highly unusual corporate arrangement named after Clancy Edward Roottree, who was Elias's son and the Roottree Candy Company's head lawyer at the time. Due to its unique nature, it's often brought up in online discussions about financial matters and inheritance as an oddity. Okay, so that's Clancy Edward Roottree. The company mandates that a fixed percentage of its profits are split every quarter amongst bank accounts representing each direct relative of Elias and Gwyneth. An account is created for each blood relative at birth and first accessible when they reach 18. The actual numbers have never been successfully disclosed to the public, but due to the ever-increasing success of the company, it is a significant amount of money. The Clancy Trust is known for being essentially impossible to get around due to many checks and balances written into it. Still, there have been a few situations in which family members have tried to forcibly remove another family member from the trust. Most details online are pretty vague since the matters are handled internally. The only information you discover is from a university law school, which apparently had a guest lecturer talk about the Roottrees versus RR in 1994. Interesting. Roottrees versus RR. While looking into the Clancy Trust, you often find mentions to the 5-piece guarantee. Okay, so before I continue here, I want to see if the Clancy Trust... Okay. Most are from the 40s and 50s. To earn money based on profits of the candy company. Infallible legal aspects designed by Clancy Edward Roottree. Okay. Clancy. Nothing relevant. Okay. Let's go back to Spider Search. Oh wait, there's no E. that might have affected that search. Okay, so that just takes us back here. The same thing. Let's fix the spelling here. And that. Okay. That's the same article too. Okay, so nothing extra, but what about the Roottrees versus RR? Okay. Very few details about this particular incident. A student that attended the lecture about it wrote the following on the Legal Oddities website. From what you can tell, RR attempted unsuccessfully to remove a fellow family member from the trust. It was said that RR attempted two arguments. First, the person in question was born out of wedlock, and second, they committed a significant crime against a fellow family member. Still, due to the ironclad wording of the Clan-said trust, it was impossible to remove any direct descendant of Elias Roottree without completely dissolving the trust. There's no additional information. Okay. And then what about the 5-piece? Oh God, I can never spell this word correctly. Okay, there we go. In isolation, it is somewhat... attempt to ensure that the Roottree family company would remain in business for eternity. The yearly salary is always locked to the price of a single pack of 5 pieces. When the 5-piece guarantee went into effect, this was 25 cents a year. Now it's closer to $4. Combined with the Clan-said trust, however, it makes a bit more sense. Elias wanted to ensure that only his direct relatives could afford to be president, and he knew that because their passive income was tied to the profits of the company, they would have a vested interest in keeping the company as profitable and successful as possible. Whether or not this was a smart or successful decision is widely debated, both online and in person, by economic enthusiasts of all levels of expertise. Okay, let's try looking that up here. 5-piece guarantee. Nothing. Okay. All right, let's look up Lauren Rafferty. Oh, both are required. Romance in Court. No copies available. Re-released as Romance in Court. Okay. About the author blurb mentioned she had the inspiration from from one of her brother Clancy's lectures on the Middle Ages. Okay, did we put Lauren in here? That's Miracle, or at least who I'm guessing is Miracle. That was James. So this must be Lauren. Oh, author? Yeah, author. I don't know who her spouse is. I didn't even know she had a spouse. Is it true? Was she one of the notable people? Because she might not even be on here. Oh no, she was. She was one of the notables. Something's still wrong with Carl's, so I'm wondering if it's the president part that's incorrect. Are you the 4th president? That didn't change anything. CEO? That didn't change anything. Something is wrong, though. I'm gonna leave that because I don't know what else it is. So I've said that this is James. This is Gwen. And that was locked in. This, I think, is Miracle Jr. So that would leave this as Lauren. That would be correct. I don't know that we found anything about her being... her brother Clancy's lectures. So one of these would be Clancy. I mean, it kind of would make no, that wouldn't. That's interesting that this goes here. It could also be that she's supposed, like, these are supposed to be swapped, but... So I think one of those must be Clancy. So I think that's the most important information, though, is that Lauren has a brother Clancy, who lectures on Middle Ages. Okay, is there Clancy Jr.? We have a Clancy Edward and a Clancy Jr. So it's possible that this is Clancy and this is a Clancy Jr. and that would be her brother, and then he would be like a medieval lecturer. What other names do we have in here? We have an Elias Jr., an Elias C., and an Elias M. Okay. Let's look up the other. There was another book. Oh, yeah. It was War. A Life Between Wars. There we go. Okay, so first of all, let's put this in here. Wait, but why? Well, this will just be his picture. The below are notes and observations you made while skimming through Lauren Roottrees' diary pages. She will be marked on the chart with a star. The book was published in 1965 and consists of diary entries that stretch from 1940 to 1965. The most important event that much of the diary and Lauren's thoughts revolve around was the loss of her husband, Jacob. Okay, so this would be Jacob. Rafferty makes sense because that's her married name. Jacob died in the final months of World War II while Lauren was pregnant. This left her to raise her son, Clark, alone. So this, oh, we don't have a picture. This is Clark. Oops. I'm going all over the place. Where were we? Lauren never remarried and only had one child. By skimming the pages of the diary, you glean the following information. She was the granddaughter of Elias and Gwyneth on her father's side. Okay. So, granddaughter tracks. This is a male relative, and I still think it might be Clancy. Her mother's family was called the Cossells, but she hardly ever mentions them. Okay, so let me jot this down. Gwyneth has... Wait. No, not Gwyneth. Lauren. Lauren has a paternal root tree line. And mother is a Cossell. Her father, who she always referred to as Pop, was the head lawyer of the Roottrees Candy Company and helped write a legal document called the Clancy Trust. Okay. Thank you for clarifying that. So this is Clancy Edward Roottrees, and he was a lawyer. Her mother is a Cossell. There's only one, so that would make her Sarah. Okay. This is feeling good. That means I still think this one is going to be, I think I was right earlier. I think this is Clancy Jr. And what did we learn about Clancy Jr.? Oh, that he was a medievalist. Like a professor? Yeah. Is what I'm guessing. Okay, this is fun. It's clear from the context that the Roottrees have internal shorthand names for the different generations of their family. Lauren uses them often. 5 pieces. The first generation of children by Gwyneth and Elias. Lauren's father was in this generation. The next generation is Lauren's generation. Okay, so Gen 2 is 5 pieces. Gen 3 is the next generation. And Gen 4 is the free spirits, and that includes her son. Interesting. Oh, what is this? I didn't know that there were additional notes. Entry titled Complaints from Lauren Roottrees' Diary, written in 1953. This entry seems to focus specifically on one of Lauren's family members, Gwen, who was on the notable Roottrees list. It seems everyone has something to complain about. Gwen, as an only child, complained of loneliness. I told her that being expected to watch after 3 younger brothers didn't feel like a blessing, but it fell on deaf ears. Okay, so this was Gwen. That is her. It's an only child. And she is an only child, right? Yep. That's true. Being expected to watch it didn't feel like... Okay, so all 3 of these are men. So that is useful. So 3 boys and 1 girl. During the summer, where I went to stay with her and Aunt Margot, Gwen and Margot. Okay, let me take a quick peek at this list. Looking for a woman named Margot. We have a Margolite Roottree. So I'm going to guess that her mother is Margolite. Let's go back over here. I hoped she would be the sister I never had and that I'd do the same for her. I even tried to dye my hair blonde to fit in with the 2 of them. What a mess. But she just complained. To her, I was the lucky cousin. Now she's off living a glamorous life while I'm stuck here with Clark. I must admit, seeing her everywhere contributes to my unhappiness. Her visage stares at me, even now from my coffee table. She gets to be in starlit and tell tales of how she gallivants around the world, kissing the likes of Harrison Lane and Wild Bill Williams. Okay, I'm going to write those names down. So we have, for Gwen, Starlet, Harrison Lane, and Wild Bill Williams. Starlet might be a periodical. That could be worth looking into. She's the first Roottrie woman to be anything other than a housewife, and I am jealous. If I were not a single mother, could I make my own way in the world? But I'm off topic. A girl with all the luck in the world was jealous of me. And now, though I have been undoubtedly burdened by terrible tragedy, I am also lucky to be born into a family that can support me for eternity. I can raise a child without worry, unlike countless other widows. If any of them were to hear me complaining, they would rightfully scoff, just like I do at Gwen. An entry entitled Dynasty from Lauren Roottrees' diary, written in 1958. It focuses on the day her grandfather Elias announced he would step down as president of the Roottree Candy Company and the meeting to determine his successor. I wish I had been a fly on the wall today. Clancy told me that everyone got quite heated. Granddad was furious none of his sons would take over as president, but that's what he gets for holding on to it so long. With architects, preachers, and lawyers, nobody's got time for candy. Okay, so we have an architect, preacher, and lawyer. It would make sense if James' father is also a preacher, which would mean the other person's the architect. And I feel like an architect was mentioned a long ass time ago, and I don't remember who it was, so I will need to find that again. So with the 5 pieces refusing to step up, it came down to us next gens. Pop argued at length that the company should stay with our branch of the family. Oh, okay, so it was actually, that was the 5 pieces. Let me fix my note, because I put that down for next gen. Cut. Architect, preacher, and lawyer. Architects, preachers, and so all of them are architects, preachers, and lawyers. Okay. I'm not even sure Clancy would have wanted it, but he's the one who was volunteered. Instead, it ended up going to Zach. even though his surname doesn't match the candy, he's the firstborn son of the firstborn 5-piece. Okay. So this person, who I'm pretty sure is a woman, has a son named Zach. Oh no, there's 2. But she says Zach, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in here. And we're going to call him President 2. Oh no, it's Z. Okay. I think if it's ZAC, it's probably Zachariah. That's my guess. Okay, so this is a female 5P. Wait, that doesn't... Well, she was probably a housewife, and that's why it wasn't mentioned. So one of these is... At least one of these is a preacher, one of these is a lawyer, and one of these is an architect. This is Clancy, so we know he's a lawyer. This is Morgulite. So these... she and her are probably both housewives. Since they said that, like, the women in the family, not you, were housewives, that's what I'm guessing. So one of these, we have Miracle Root Tree. This is a book occasionally taught in schools. Find a hardcover edition. Okay, let me go back here. Oh. Miracle Network, a production company run by Miracle Root Tree Estates. Miracle Root Tree arrived so late in his mother's life that doctors swore he wouldn't survive. His mother and father, Elias and Gwen, named him Miracle because they thought him impossible. He was younger than his brothers and sisters by over 14 years. With a birth that late, the final child of his generation was nearly torn apart by countless health problems, but still, with the power of God on his side, he persevered. He triumphed over these complications and even regained his sight to spread the healing word. Okay, so he's the preacher. 23 years later, Miracle Root Tree Jr. arrived and became the famous family's second vessel for the higher power. At 18, he unburdened himself from the Root Tree name and took his father's testimony to a whole new level. Okay. Crazy. Okay, let me get these pictures. Okay, I will come back to that. And this is... we got 2 pictures. World famous Miracle Jr. Oh, featuring. So I'm guessing this is Miracle Jr. and that's Miracle. Okay, so he's a preacher. And this is Miracle. Okay. We don't know his wife's name though, right? Miracle Jr. arrived, did the power of miracles spread gospel, power of the Lord coming to a town near you. Okay. Oh, his wife Nicole, who are said to be the youth pastors. Okay, so Nicole. Oh no, we got 2. Nicole Smith and Nicole Madsen. Let's try looking them up. Is that how you spell it? Did I do that correctly? Yes, Nicole Smith. Nothing relevant. Okay. So we just know that it's a Nicole. Okay, let me finish this. Okay, ask Clancy if it had ever come up that a woman could take over. After all, Angie is older than Zach, and I'm next oldest of us all, but he just laughed. Oh, okay. So this isn't Zach then. This is Angie. She's not president. She's going to be a housewife, I'm assuming. This is Zach. And those are related names, right? Morden and Morden, yep. And he was the second president. And that means this is Morden. I'm guessing James Morden. Okay. I'll never forget the cuss words Pop used when he told Ma it wouldn't go to us. Mother, ever the quick-witted, at least with catty remarks, countered back, maybe they wanted it to go to the only member of the family who looks like he samples the product. Rude. Okay. An entry titled Sam, written in 1963 from a previous entry, learned that Elias Roottrees had given in to his mother and announced that Sam, an obscure relative, was to be included in family gatherings. Gwyneth had been pushing to include Sam for quite some time. Lauren writes, "Why, Sam? I have many distant relatives I've never met. After all, Granny had sisters and Granddad had a brother or two. But I was told, trim their branches from the family tree. So why is Sam special? Nothing adds up. And I'm not the only one to realize." Okay. Elias had given it to his wife. Previous entry learned that Elias Roottrees had given to his wife and announced that Sam, an obscure relative, was to be included in family gatherings. Okay. Angie summoned all of the next gens to a secret meeting in Zach's office. Gwen's in Paris, but the rest of us, including Miracle Boys, spent ages trying to unravel the mystery. I didn't recognize Sam at Uncle Junior's wedding to Patsy last year. At the reception, when I asked who Sam was, Pop shushed me and said it was complicated. Clancy swore he saw Sam working alongside the farmhands, E.C. and John, when he used to drive past the old Anderson farm on his way to work. Upon hearing that, Zach checked the record and managed to confirm all three are on the books. Eli, Miracle's youngest, not my brother, even chimed in. Apparently, when he was riding his mini bike alongside the farm a few weeks ago, Sam gave him some old tools and taught him how to make the bike's engine faster. None of us think that proper for a multitude of reasons, but Eli certainly seems thrilled. At the end of the day, nothing explains why an outsider has cozied into family affairs, especially one who works on the farm of all places. Whatever happened to blood is thicker than syrup? Why is Granddad making an exception now? Okay. Trying to mentally sort through this. So we're talking a lot about the miracles. And it sounded like maybe this was Patsy. Oh god, there's two Patricias, so that doesn't help me. And then it said Miracle and someone else. Eli, Miracle's youngest, not my brother. So there's two people who have similar names. There's an Eli somewhere in here, one of these two. And then there's an Eli over here. There's Junior, C, and M. That doesn't really help me. There's too many Elis. Okay, and then there's some scandal about a Sam. But it has to be like in this generation, right? There's this top secret one. So maybe it's this part of the family, but I don't think I can mark all of that. I'll have to come back to this one. Oh my god, there's so many. One of the final entries, called Clark, is written in 1964. Clark's getting married and, in my opinion, far too young. He's barely 18 for God's sake, and Danielle isn't much older. But openly confronting them would make me a hypocrite. After all, Jacob and I got married at 16. Okay, so one of these is Clark. So we gotta keep an eye out for that. And he married someone named Danielle. Clark, like the rest of the generation, is a free spirit. What else do you call a group of kids growing up with more money than any one person can spend? They all aspire to be musicians and artists and dancers and all sorts of nonsense. The only one who has any discipline is Carl, but that's because Pop forced Clancy to send him to the academy. Maybe I'm just getting old, but our generation was never so bad. My brothers all seemed to pursue paths of knowledge, and the most rebellious thing any of us ever did was bring home someone who would be illegal to marry if we lived anywhere south of Pennsylvania. Pop seems to have gotten over it because Edward is set to take over his department once he retires. And as for me, my first published book, Swashbuckle My Heart, is based on the pirate stories I used to invent with Jacob when we were walking in the woods after school. I think he'd be proud that Clark and I are carrying on his name. Even my cousins are doing well. Zach's not a bad president after all, and his sister seems to be doing a good job raising her twins. Gwen is Gwen, but at least she came out of the divorce with her head held high. She even told us she might come home next year so we can meet her kids. But the Free Spirits and any other family, they'd all end up on the streets. Even Clark. Okay. I want to figure out which of these is Clark. I think that's going to be my last task for right now. Clark Roottrees. Okay. If I look up Clark. Oh. Clark is a Rafferty. Oh, Clark is her son. Okay, so that would mean this is Danielle. So that's who she's talking about. Okay, I kind of forgot about that. Free spirits in any other family, they'd all end up in this room. Okay. So that tells us who they are. And they do end up getting divorced. He gets divorced a couple times. So he really did get married too young. Okay, well, let's look up Clark Rafferty then. Few fan sites for the band. He used to make music with Clark. They mentioned an album called These Times. Okay, it's another CD. Old single from folk group C and J, J and D. Clark and Jim? Jim and Diamond? Clark and, I don't know. They have a scan of the album as well as a recording of the title track thanks to a collector of Jim and Roottrees memorabilia. The website also listed the song's credits as music and lyrics by Clark Rafferty and Jim Roottrees, backup vocals by The LaRues. On it is a sticker that says Folk Style Songwriting, Catchy, MMM Magazine. Okay, so that's another periodical. Oh my god, there's so much to look up. Okay, MMM Magazine. Life is life and love shall be me and you and me. Some days will come, though, that this tree will be the last of what was we. Passing years, all paths diverge, rivers rambling, onward surge, one source behind old memories. Some days these times will all be over. Dew dries in the morning clover. So take my hand beneath the tree and carve your name with me. These times are ours for free. Okay, rose tinted memory. Okay. C and I mean, if it's going in order, which is what would make sense, then I think this is Clark and this is James. And he was at least at some point a musician. Okay. I think that's where I'm going to stop for now. I'm probably going to be so lost when I start playing again because there's just so many details that are happening here. So I need to organize my notes and have a think. There's still some information that's not correct. For example, it's still not flagging. I think this is the one that it's not flagging as locked in. Is there a way for me to check that? Yeah, Carl Roottrees is still not locked in. Neither is Jim, Lauren, or Miracle Jr. So there's still something it's not registering. So that means that there's some piece of information that's incorrect, whether it's their occupation or something else. I don't think it's related to the photo for him. I think that's correct. But for these two, maybe they're flipped. Maybe musician isn't their most recent career path. There could be lots of different things. So I'll just need to keep poking around and trying to find them. I also don't know why this won't give me Wolf's picture, because I have it and I'm pretty sure that's him. Because I think his sister is the younger one, unless it's not the case. No. Yeah, so I'll come back to that, and then I have those new photos that I still haven't even touched. And there's so many clues over here. What is in the Conquistador? Candy, Nikki, and Nina. There is still something here. I wonder what it is. It could be that there are other people in the family. I don't know. Well, I'll come back to it. But I think I did a lot of good progress for the first session. Definitely going to play more of this game. I would like to fill the whole board, but at minimum, I want to get obviously like the main story and open up the top secret file. All right. See you all next time. Bye.